Greetings, members of Local 2627. I am Laura Moran, president of the Local. I have two important issues to discuss with you, one of them being the early retirement incentive, the other one being city workers returning to work starting May 3rd. As far as the first one, this last week, New York State legislators passed the early retirement incentive. And last I heard, it was sitting on the governor's desk to be signed, and he has every intention on signing that bill. The next step will be the city council will need to pass an ordinance which must be signed by the mayor. And the mayor has also indicated that he plans on signing it. They have till June 30th to sign this, which effectively allow them to opt in to the early retirement incentive bill. Now, in this bill for DOE employees, they have, it was said that May 1st, it would have to be signed for them, and they will have to be completed with opting into it. As far as members of the local opting into it, has to be completed by August 31st. So that's DOE employees. The ERI, the early retirement incentive, applies to NICERs, BERS, and TRS members. So only those three pension systems will be allowed to participate in this new bill, in this BIL as they call it. Now, the mayor's agencies will have till June 30th to decide if they will opt into it. So each and every agency will have a chance to either opt in or not. And also they have to decide by June 30th which titles can participate in this early retirement incentive. And they also can determine which titles cannot participate. So they also can exclude individual titles, like, from what we're being told, nurses and doctors will not be included, and other positions that deal with health and safety and revenue. So those positions, if you are in a position that generates revenue, you're not going to be allowed to participate. Now, the filing period is supposed to expire no later than October 31st. We don't know exactly when the filing period will open. We believe it's around June 30th, but like I said, New York City Council must opt in, and there's two parts that they have to opt into. If they choose to opt into one part and not the other, that's a problem for a lot of our members, because like one part is if you're between 55 and less than 62, you get to retire with no penalties. The other part is if you're over 62, you get 1 month for every year up to a maximum of 3 years of service added onto your service when you retire. So if we're pushing for the New York City Council to opt into both parts, and like I said, it's not completely done, but we're a good way there. And so far, everything looks like it's going to happen, that it's going to happen. So one other thing is that the terminal leave payments will be spread out over 3 years. Now, we already know that certain agencies have indicated that they will not opt into this. MTA Transit has already said that they're not going to opt into it. NYCHA has said they're not going to opt into it. And state-funded CUNY schools and CUNY positions said they will not opt into it. So in other words, pretty much junior colleges, 2-year colleges, community colleges look like you will have a chance to opt into it. But if you're in a state, if any position that is working at a junior college that is state funded, you will not be able to take advantage of it. Now, we're also being told that those who have retired recently can pull their papers as long as their first pension payment has not been processed. So if your first pension payment has been processed, it's too late. DC 37 will be having information sessions on this as soon as possible. As soon as we know that the final details are sealed, we're going to be definitely sending out an e-alert. So if you've not signed up for our e-alert, go to Local 2627, and on the top page, local2627.org, and on the top page, you will see where you can sign up for our e-alert, because this is how we're going to be notifying you about the pension information sessions about the early retirement. Now, please do not call me, because this is all I have. I'm telling you everything I have. I cannot tell you if you qualify or not for sure, because I'm not a pension expert. But I will, anything I have, I will definitely be able to share with you. Once I know it, I will send out an e-alert and post it on the local website. Now, just remember, this is done to prevent layoffs. So we're still not out of the woods. which brings me on to the next topic, working from home and having to return back on May 3rd. Now, we were all pretty grateful that we get to work home during this pandemic, during this unsafe time, because it was definitely dangerous and a lot of lives were saved. A lot of city worker lives were saved by not having to go in. Now, the mayoral agencies have been instructed by the mayor that everyone has to return back, not all full time, but everyone has to return starting around May 3rd. Now, each agency has had to submit a return to office plan to DCAS as of April 3rd. And as those plans are being approved by DCAS, they've been meeting with me and other locals and other unions to go over those plans so that we can approve it or say, no, that's not good enough and give our input on this, which we are doing. So we're quite busy with that. And so if you call me, you may not get me because I'm booked in meetings for these agencies all week, this week and all next week. Now, they also, some agencies, they want to give 2 weeks notice to their employees before having them return to work. Now, currently, nobody is being set, except for NYPD, which is a special case. No other agency is making anybody return full time. In fact, most agencies are saying they want to have people return 1 to 2 days a week, maybe even 1 day a month. It depends upon the agency. I can't say exactly all the agencies because there's a lot of different meetings, but we are reviewing these plans, and we are definitely doing walkthroughs because the Safety and Health DC 37 Safety and Health Unit, which have industrial engineers who know exactly what to look for to make sure that you are returning to a safe environment, because your safety is the utmost important to us. We're not going to put none of our members' lives in jeopardy by having them return to an unsafe working environment that with bad filtration or bad filters or bad air ventilation systems. So all this is being checked out before anybody returns back. A lot of places have put up plexiglass. Not every area is putting up. But another thing that we're doing also is that we're pushing for our members to be vaccinated so that you can have an extra layer of protection so that you won't put your life in jeopardy or your family life in jeopardy. If DC 37 is booking members to be vaccinated. So you can go to dc37.net and right there on the homepage, you'll be able to click on and sign up to be vaccinated at a DC 37 site. And they're going to be having some dates come up so you can get it done real fast and quick. Now, another thing that about this work from home, people having to return to work, is that most agencies is going to require you to wear masks, especially in the common areas, in the bathroom, the elevators, when you're coming in, when you're trying to, when you're walking in the hallway, when you go into the pantry, you're going to be required to wear a mask, and if you don't, you can be written up and disciplined. So we're not trying to infringe on nobody's freedom, but we want to definitely encourage safety and save people's lives. Now, I know people are calling saying, oh, they're afraid, they're anxious, and all kinds of that is not fair. Why the city making them go back? Well, you got to also stop and understand that it's for financial reasons. We are city workers. Our paycheck depends on taxpayers paying taxes. So if these local businesses where you go and buy your breakfast when you go to work, where you go buy lunch, the cleaners where you take your clothes to be clean so you can go to work, they're having a hard time surviving. And if they don't survive and pay taxes, then guess what? The mayor's going to be forced to have massive layoffs. That means you may have to choose between working from home or being laid off. Working from home and being laid off. So let that sink in, because our jobs depend on taxpayers, on people paying taxes, on people purchasing goods, on people purchasing services. So if we insist upon working from home 100% of the time, we are actually doing ourselves an injustice. Now, I do believe that we should be able to work from home part of the time, and I'm pushing for 2 to 3 days per week. Now, and also maybe it may phase in, but we're working at trying to have a permanent work from home policy for 2 to 3 days per week that will be phased in after this pandemic is over. Now, once the pandemic is over, I want to push for a permanent telework policy. But it's not, nothing that I'm pushing for is going to require the city to allow anybody to work from home 100% of the time, because it's not good for the local economy. It's not good for our jobs. It put our jobs in jeopardy. So I want to tell you about that part. And now I got people calling me saying, oh, it's not safe out there. Yes, we understand it. I mean, the violence that's going on is very scary, and we are definitely against any discrimination and violence and hatred towards any human being. And it's a shame that this is happening. And we definitely are supporting our members in any way we can. If you have an anxiety about returning to work, we have personal service unit. You can look their number up. Their number is 212-815-1250, or you can call DC 37 mainline 212-815-1000, and they will put you through to the personal service unit. It's confidential. Nobody will know that you're talking with them, and they're doing video one-on-one sessions that are confidential. Now, even if you feel that you insist that you should be allowed to work from home and you want to put in a reasonable accommodation through EEO, well, you can try that, but I'm going to tell you, the mayor office has instructed every city agency that child care, elder care, or anything regarding children with the schools being closed, those are going to be denied. Those are no longer reasons to be allowed to work from home. The DOE hasn't changed its requirements, so schools are not closing down so easily now. So it used to be one kid, school was shut down for 2 weeks. That's no longer the case. So schools won't be shutting down so easily. And a lot of people are vaccinated, so the virus is definitely cutting down. You hear on the news, the numbers are coming down. It's not perfect, but you can, if you follow the protocols and wear a mask and wash your hands and distance, you should be able to bring people back to work safely. Now, another reason you can't put in for it is, oh, my coworker got it. No, you can't put in for reasonable accommodation for that. It has to. The only reason that will qualify you for a reasonable accommodation to continue to work from home, and even then is at the option of the agency, is at their discretion, would be if you have a disability that prevents you from traveling, and it has to be documented by a medical professional. So if you don't have something like that situation going on, then don't even think about it. I'll put it to you, be wasting your time and your agency's time. Now, there's other options that the agencies are going to tell you. If you have childcare issues or elder care issues, they're going to tell you about paid family leave, which you get up to 12 weeks as a mayoral employee. You get up to 12 weeks, and as CUNY, because now all the CUNY has it as well. So, or FMLA, if you don't want to use paid family leave. Or if you use paid family leave, you have to use FMLA in conjunction at the same time. Or you can use your annual leave or comp time, but those are going to be your options. Now, we are fighting, because some agency, there's one particular agency that wants to bring everybody back 100% of the time, which is unacceptable, because we still know that you want to be able to have people socially distanced, and you can't do that if you bring everybody back. So we're definitely fighting to make sure that people are brought back in a safe way. So, because we believe in safety first. We believe in making sure our work sites are safe. So with that, I just want to say be safe and get vaccinated, get your family vaccinated, and be ready to return back to work on May 3rd, because it will do your job and your coworkers' jobs a world of good. Thank you.